You know what? I'm just gonna go right into it. No one really knows what the fuck they're doing, but they're just going along as they go. Like honestly, you can have a plan, but you have to be prepared for a plan, not go according to plan.
And first impressions matter. Like even though we tend to like, no, you can't judge a book by its cover.
It's true.
You do judge a book
Yeah.
by its cover, you know. So
You know the reason why, like, I like you. Besides, I just need you. I just need an extra body. I just need someone to armbar sometimes.
oh yeah, sometimes.
If you have really good people around you, like a good support system around you, they'll hold you accountable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the work. It's just like Hakazan is a different level of my.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
It's more exclusive.
It's politically correct.
Yeah.
Politically correct, my
Hey.
friend. You have to be empathetic towards people. You have to, because you don't know what they're going through.
That self-reflection about the moves that you did throughout the day, I think that's the best way of looking at things.
Yeah.
You know, if you eat junk food, play video games all day, stay indoors, and you're expecting different results, like that's just crazy.
Stomach is pretty much your second brain, right?
Oh, yeah,
like you've
exactly,
got biomes and stuff like that that's connected to the vagus nerve. Your sleep is really good, and you ate right, but then sometimes you'll just be like, "Fuck the world." Yep. Alrighty, man. This is episode 9 of the Speakeasy podcast.
Wow, 9 already.
9 already. Time goes by fast, dude.
Right.
You know what? I'm just gonna go right into it, just because that just kind of made me realize something, that if you're gonna easier said than done, but if you're gonna start doing something, do it now, because time does go by fast. And you're just wasting a bunch of fucking time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's just call it what it is. But I get it. Sometimes like people aren't ready to start whatever they are. They're just kind of talking, and I'm not knocking on that, because it's people. It's always the hardest to start.
100%.
Always the hardest to start. You need all that energy. You need everything inside you to pretty much get up and do what you want to do. Like, it's tough. I can't go around preaching like I'm this, ultra disciplined guy.
Right.
Yeah, because I have the same issues like anyone else. The people that I listen to, like the motivational speakers and the people that I idolize, they have a hard time getting up. That Jocko Willings of the world, the David Goggins of the world, Joe Rogans of the world, they have the same fucking problem.
Yeah.
And no one really knows what the fuck they're doing. But they're just going along as they go. Like, honestly, you can have a plan, but you have to be prepared for a plan, not go according to plan. There's a quote for you.
Yeah. So you think most people are unmotivated or undisciplined? Or like
I think it's both. I think you get spurs of motivation depending on how you feel.
Right.
That's a good topic, actually, because there's a lot of like signaling going on now. It's like, the most disciplined person, or get up, and there's all these dude, I can't stand it, because I get suggested these quotes on Instagram, but you can tell like a 12-year-old did it. It's like, if you get up, it's like something dramatic. If you don't get up, then you won't be successful in 10 years. And you just like something crazy dramatic with music. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to get like clicks and just.
But some people do need that kind of videos to like actually break that curse of doom scrolling and stuff like that. Because you can lose track of time easily if you just jump into one of these apps, and they are trying their best to capture attention as long as possible. But the most common excuse, I'm just gonna say that's an excuse, that I don't have enough time. Like, that's like, if you're watching this video in a social media platform or anything like that, you do have time,
Whatever your priorities are, right? You can just look to someone's behaviors and figure out what their priorities are. People don't need to say what they are. You can just look to what they're doing, what has been done, to see what their priorities are. Even like sitting around and watching Netflix, or eating junk food, or watching porn, or playing video games, those are your priorities, right? You're kind of like, yeah, no, those are just like my hobbies. No. They're your priorities because you always do them. So whatever that person does the most is their priority. It's the biggest tell-all of everything that a person does. There's also this thing about how I was listening to the psychiatrist, and he said that when you talk about what you're gonna do, it's actually counterintuitive. It's bad for
Because
you.
You're borrowing dopamine, basically. You're releasing dopamine that I'm gonna do this, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah,
And then you don't do it, it's even worse.
yeah, you psych yourself up pretty much, and then you get excited for it. You got all these plans, and then when it's time to do it, you kind of depleted it.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's like damn. And plus, factor that along with just starting in general, how hard it is to start, like going to the gym, let alone all that stuff. Damn, you're putting yourself in like a shit position. Now, there's a difference though, because I think social contracts are very powerful, which means like if you tell your sister or if you tell like, your good friends that, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I think there's something to that.
Right.
I think if you have really good people around you, like a good support system around you, they'll hold you accountable.
Yes.
Yeah, because I used to be that guy where I'd tell my friends that, oh, dude, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like you'll
But
get
that's
there.
not being a good friend,
That's
right?
not
At the
being
end
a
of the
good
day.
friend. Yeah, at the end of the day. And that, I think for me, that comes with age, right? For me to be that straightforward with a friend, because ultimately you want them to do good, but you also want them to go the right way about it. You want to be authentic and you want to be pretty straightforward with them and be empathetic at the same time, but you also don't want to discourage them. So there's like a balancing act, right?
There's
Like
a
you
thin
care about
line,
them,
right?
and also depending on who that person is, right? You can't just, it's individualized for the person. So I'm going to talk to someone that's probably more sensitive than how I would normally talk to someone. I'm not one of those guys that are like, yeah, it's just fucking this way or the highway. You have to be empathetic towards people. You have to, because you don't know what they're going through. You have no idea.
Right. Yeah, it's always better to build people up than break them down and try to build them, 'Cause
Yeah.
you already had that foundation. I mean, obviously, foundational beliefs are harder to change. Like, you're not going to be able to change a born Mormon into a... I mean, you might, I mean, obviously, that's their old religion, like the belief system and everything. But the way that you grow up your children impacts their whole life a lot at the same time.
Yeah, I was also thinking about this concept about, how you can change someone. You can't, right? Like you can't.
Yeah.
You think about how hard it is to change yourself. I saw this on like, some random meme page, but think about how hard it is to change yourself. It's almost impossible to get
change
someone to
someone else,
change. Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough to change you, right? So the best thing to do, and this is coming from the psychiatrist that I listen to on like YouTube, the best thing to do is ask them questions and let them connect the dots. The more you ask them questions, the more that they'll kind of put it together in their heads. Right. And no one likes being told what to do.
No, never.
If you tell someone what to do, they're gonna go the other way and just do the opposite of what you're telling them to do. It's like some sort of contrarian thing. But yeah, people want to be ready to do it on their own, and it's almost like they want to say that they did it like on their own, right? And hey, I get it, like I get it, it's your life, but it's like our first thought is to just go around giving unsolicited advice, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like, yeah, I mean, you should do this and you should do that, like what they're going through. I've had to learn that too, because I used to be that guy. It's been like, hey man, you should do this, since I started working out and shit. But then that's not really the way to go. It's just different situations. Again, you have to be empathetic about people and what they're going through. They might know something you don't know. They're in a completely different situation in their life, maybe financially or family wise, relationship wise, who knows? But you can't just go around,
Telling people what to do, right?
Telling them what to do.
But that being said, I agree with you on that one. But at the same time, people like to be led. They just don't like to be told what to do, So if you actually like lead them into the right direction and they take the steps on their own, then they're going to be performing much better.
Yeah.
Like there's this saying that you can take a horse to a river, but you can't make him drink,
Yeah.
So
the best advice I've heard was from this book that I read in my 20s called No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr.
I actually read that book.
Yeah. Dr. Glover, Robert Glover. And he was saying that how you change someone is through behaviors. So don't tell someone what to do. Just do what you're going to do. Do the positive things that you want to do, like go to the gym, work out,
Eat clean.
become a better father, whatever, or eat cleaner. and lead by example instead of having to tell them what to do. Because like we said, you can't change anyone. But if you just change your own behavior and kind of do the things that you need to do, then hopefully when they're ready, when the other person's ready, they'll kind of follow that example when they're ready to change.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know this might be a bit off topic, but I was watching a few scenes from older not old movies, but older movies like Troy and the action movies with Brad Pitt in it.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie, bro. I was watching this beach landing scene, and him and his myrmidons, they just take the whole beach by themselves.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, and the king, Agamemnon, one of his advisors are just give him this battle, you win the war. And Agamemnon says to his advisor, give them enough battles, and they forgot who the king is.
Yeah.
So that was a great scene, because at the end of the day, this guy fights for his own glory, for immortality. I mean, we're talking about this guy after 2,000-3,000 years, whatever. But that strikes me a lot, because you do want to fight for a guy, or you're that guy who's in the trenches, who's doing the hard work. You don't want to fight for the guy who's in safety, behind the ships. But if you're leading by example, like what you said, that's what I try to connect it to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's the best. No, that was a great example, actually. That's the best way to probably try to quote unquote advise someone is just lead by example. Do your thing. And if they don't follow suit, that means they're either not ready or that's not up to you. Right? That you have no control of anyone's behaviors. You only have control of yours. And I think that's what, as far as politically and what's going on around the world and all this shit, the unsolicited advice that we were saying, people need to do this and people need to do this about climate change and all this stuff. It's hey man, are you doing your part, or are you just walking around commenting on people's fucking Instagrams, telling them what to do and how they should live their life? It's maybe you should probably fix your own life before
attacking other people's.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of do something about it, right? If you want to change the world, change yourself. And if you will change yourself, then you'll change the world. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I feel now that we live in this century, the 21st century, people become so offensive towards anything that you say to them. You see people with all sorts of crazy hair, just yelling at each other, on the streets. You just have to try to make a conversation. And if I tell you that wearing masks or anything, we don't want to get into any political views here, but people get triggered so easy. I don't understand. I think emotional control is very important, right? And being a stoic person doesn't mean that you have no emotions.
Yeah.
It means that you're regulating your emotions and not reacting in a way that would hinder your relationship with that person or cause that damage. Because you can't take back a rock after you throw it away, the damage is done.
Yeah, and listen, if you're gonna talk shit on the internet and just in general about what people are doing and all this shit, that kind of means that you're not where you should be at, right? As far as what you're really trying to do. Say if you're talking shit about someone trying to lose weight, and they're not doing it right, and then you're very critical. Not to say that you can't add feedback or constructive criticism, but if you're very, very critical, that means that you haven't done it. You almost haven't done it yourself, or you're just a kind of a shitty person for doing it.
Probably.
Because here's the other thing is that hate doesn't come from the top.
No, never. Yeah,
it never does.
Yeah,
there's no, when I see someone, and fuck, I hate to admit this, I used to be that guy. Before I started working out and before I did this podcast, before I did everything, before, this, that, before I quit drinking, I used to be that guy. I used to be well, why the fuck? That's so stupid, and all that. And then after you go through the journey, fuck, it's hard.
Yeah, but it's worth it in the end, right?
Yeah, but my point is that you get a glimpse of how hard it is. So when you see someone else do it, oh fuck, you're rooting for them. You genuinely are. That's not just some motivation shit. It's damn, dude, that takes a lot of fucking courage to do. Especially with this thing, right? Especially with this podcast. No one's watching, and sometimes it can get discouraging at times. But that doesn't matter as long as that you're having fun doing it And I get it, we're social creatures and we can't help but, like see how many fucking views it has and likes and all this shit. But as long as you like to do it, this is going to be kind of cringy, but as long as you like to do it, number one, you'll burn out less. Number two, you can outlast the competition because you genuinely like to do it. Yeah, you're having fun with it. This is fucking fun. Yeah. This is fun. Even if no one's watching. I know we're like broadcasting it and stuff like that. But you have to always remind yourself that you have nothing to lose. You have no expectations. And that's coming from like a yogic psychiatrist. You can't think that, I've said this before on numerous podcasts, that you can't think that the results are entitled to you. You can't, man. And every time you do, now's a good time to practice that. If you're expecting something, oh, wait. Yeah, that doesn't belong to me. I have no right to that, even though you think you deserve it. You don't deserve shit. Right.
But I feel like us humans are kind of ungrateful in certain things when it comes to like our blessings. It just being alive is a blessing on my end.
Dude, you're right. You're right. Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Because you never know, right? Like genuinely, like I might die tonight. Car crash, it's there's no
that's what I tell my dad all the time,
so you got to count your blessings when you have them.
Since I'm glad you brought that up, because that made me think about like the stuff that I take care of my dad, right? And he's getting older, his wife just died, and my mom just died, and the thing is that like for him, they've been married for over 40 years, and he's been getting like panic attacks.
Long time, dude.
And I understand, because they've been together 40 years. And now I have to be that crutch, like that emotional crutch for him. Not just physical, like get the groceries and stuff, but I have to be that emotional clutch, which is kind of weird for me, because it's, let alone not from like just a guy to guy standpoint, but then from a son to like a way older generation kind of standpoint. It's kind of like, dude, there's a lot to play with that. From how do you even... like, fuck it, how do you even regulate his emotions, right? Like, as a son, after his fucking wife died of 40 years. Well, you kind of just go through it, and you kind of just figure it out as you go, just like anything else. Just like this podcast, just like working out. Action, what was that quote? It was like, action breeds, like... Confidence, right? It's just, I think you can't theory craft your way into doing something. So... let me go back. So I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but then let me go back to like my dad. It's just so what I'm really trying to say is that with him trying to deal with like emotions, I suck at it. Like I don't know what to do. It's my first. It's like having a kid. It's like you just kind of go as you go. Not that I have one. Not that I have one, but you can only imagine. But yeah, you only get one shot at this, right? You only get like to take care of your dad once. You only get to take care, or when I was taking care of my mom, you only get to take care of her once. You only get one shot, and you just go as you go. It's not going to be perfect, but you do. So that's my point. It's like, it's just like anything else. Even though you don't know what to do, just do it. That seems like a crazy statement to say, right? Even though you don't know what to do, just do, or just do something. You know what I write in my journal like all the time? Like, and it gets a little repetitive. Here's my mantra, is that take action, stay in motion, learn from the information, and do better the next time. Because it's a constant. There's no end to that. And that's what life is. Right. That's what life is.
You gotta have that self-reflection about the moves that you did throughout the day. I think that's the best way of looking at things. Yeah. If you eat junk food, play video games all day, stay indoors, and you're expecting different results, like that's just crazy. So you got to get back at the drawing board to see, like, after losing a fight, like that's what I did when I had my losses when I first started, and then went on a 5-5 win streak. Because I had that, what were you talking about? Like, I got to work on my kicks, I got to work on my defense, this. So those losses along the way is actually great learning experiences. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And Alex Hormozy, right?
Yeah, of course.
That guy's a G. I was just listening to this like 3-hour podcast. It was something ridiculous. But
The Game?
It wasn't his. He was on another podcast. Oh. But the thing is that like we need to learn sheer volume. Just kind of like how, in sparring, right? take sparring for example. Sometimes I try to pick my shots out too much. Like I look for that perfect shot to hit the perfect combo with the perfect leg kick, right? But you have to throw just volume. Just kind of like how you're doing in like jiu-jitsu. You're just rolling. Yeah, roll with intent and spar with intent and fix your mistakes. But it's sheer volume so that you can fail faster to fix your mistakes. Even with this podcast, man, I want to do 2 or 3 like conversations a week. Why? Because I want to fail.
Yeah.
I do. I want to fail.
Just get better at it.
Yeah. Dude, just like 5 minutes ago, I don't know if you realized, because I have the headphones on, the AC went on. And I can hear that shit, and I was cringing. I was like, fuck.
The AC.
Yeah, you can, and it's probably going to go through here. But it's a learning curve. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, I should have just turned it completely off. Right? But then I forgot it's a smart thermostat. So when it gets a bit hotter on the air, I just turned it up and so that it won't go off. But then when it starts getting hot, it's a smart thermostat, so it goes off down. But I could hear it and I'm like, fuck. So I just thought to myself right now that I was like, okay, we'll turn it off and do better for the next time. Right?
Right.
Because you could get mad all you want, and I understand emotions come into play, but it is what it is. Just learn from it.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't control the outcome of the situation, but you control how you react to it.
Exactly.
That's the core aspect of stoicism, right? So
yeah, I don't want this to be like a venting thing too, but man, I've been feeling like shit for the past month and a half. You know,
because of the health issues.
Yeah, nothing serious. It's just probably bacterial. You know, but the point is that it's gotten me down. So when you have those, when you're healthy, you're eating healthy, and we train and stuff like that, you feel great, right? Like you get good sleep,
of course,
right? You get proper sleep, and me and you are both pretty good at that. Even though you work like crazy hours and stuff, you'll still like get your training in, and you're still healthy for the most part. You have a sense of like realization and like epiphany when you go through like a health scare. Not that I was about to die or anything, but when you're healthy and then something happens to you and it's a long occurrence, kind of whatever it is, you tend to take it for granted of just how good you felt, right? Nothing's going to be perfect, but when you get sick and shit, dude, and it disrupts like your training, you kind of feel like shit at work, and it makes you think twice. Yeah. It makes you really think that health is the most important priority, more than money. I know it's, you know, like whatever, easy to say, but health really is the key to like being happy, honestly. Like one of the keys to like really being happy.
No, I agree 100%. You know, a healthy man has 1,000 dreams, but a sick man only has one, right? So that's where the saying's from. Health is wealth. So you gotta work on your health. And the best part about like being a fit person is that this is our resume, right? Our bodies is our resumes. Like we carry it with us whenever we go. So the people that sees you're like shape. This guy has tattoos, you know, stuff like that. And first impressions matter. Like even though we tend to like, no, you can't judge a book by its cover.
It's true.
You do judge a book by its cover, you know. So
Considering that. We are social creatures. Everything about us is social. Status games, first impressions, the way we carry ourselves. Right. The majority of the dates, the dates that I've gotten into, I ask them like, "What's the reason that you decided to go on a date with me?" You know, is that it's the way you carry yourself. Like it's first impressions, dude. You know what I mean? It's not like they got to know it. Sometimes, right? If you're at work, if you're in proximity, I guess. But then sometimes it's just kind of like, oh, it's just the way you carry yourself. Most of the time, that's what they'll say. But it's off first impressions. Right. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, like I could see that this guy's disciplined enough to work out. I'm guessing, okay. Right. Or yeah, like you said, I mean, even the externals, like tattoos and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I know it seems icky and stuff, and I get tattoos just because I like them, not really for that. But then it's you're building like a brand and your identity too. People get that shit for a reason. You dress like you do for a reason, man. Right. Everything that you do, you could make up shit. Like you could be like, well, I just like to wear hats and shit. I mean, but it's part of your style. You know, so it's the part of your branding, I guess, per se. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, yeah, man, we have those fights coming up for tomorrow, with our boy Nas, and so besides the fights, that's going to be at Virgin Hotel. Just gonna give him a shout out. And the other guys that are fighting from Syndicate. Yeah, Nas, man, I got to tell you, we're gonna have him on the podcast next week,
Cool.
and I really want to talk to him just because this guy, I think I met him when he was 18, 19, something like that.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking grown up. He used to be the shyest person that more on the more shy side of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some kids will kind of like talk here and there, but he never said a word.
No.
And you know, I could tell he was like a little awkward, and I know people need time to kind of get their social skills up and stuff, and that's exactly what he did and more. Number one,
Yeah.
he just fucking beats the shit out of me in jiu-jitsu, let alone probably everything, just in fighting. But he just, his social skills, I remember, because I do joke around, I roast people, I talk shit to them, they talk shit to me back, and that's just a natural thing that I do with people, how I communicate with people. And with Nas, when I used to do it, he probably felt a certain way about it. I'm just assuming, you know, like most people do when they're kind of quiet. But you know, it was all in good fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as the years came and as his personality grew, you know, he started kind of rolling with the punches and laughing with it, and then he'd joke back and all that stuff. So he's really blossomed into a great fighter and a great personality and just a great human being overall.
Yeah, his coaching, you know, like he's got his own students.
Yeah.
So, you know, doing the whole thing.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Looking forward for his next chapter.
Yeah, I love talking to guys like that, because this podcast is about what would I have done back then. You know, I know that you did what you did and you can't go back, but then it's almost like a platform for the younger guys that do want to change their life at a young age. And good for you, because if you are listening to this podcast, you're already on the right track, because you're self-aware that you want to improve, and you're trying to find some source to do that, right? You're trying to find some source on whatever it is, how to get girls, how to start a business, what to do. Maybe if you want to take martial arts just for the health benefits or anything, it's like you came to the right place. Yeah. So what about you, man? What's been going on with you?
Like I said, like working hard.
Yeah,
you know.
I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Honestly, I was like, I just blanked
You
out.
just
for
had
some
like
reason.
a block.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to get back to cornering and then competing again. I feel like I've been out of the scene for a second, like, working on some other things. But I just love MMA. I love Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun week next week.
Yeah.
In Phoenix.
Hey, okay, so before I forget, you know, I've always told you that, like, as a friend, you know the reason why we're friends, right? You know the reason why, like, I like you besides, I just need an extra body. Just
Yeah, other than
here,
that.
yeah, you're
Other
just
than that.
fucking here. Just I need
Just
someone to
invaded me.
I just need someone to armbar sometimes.
Oh yeah, sometimes. Okay.
But what is it, man? You know what I saw in you when I first met you is that you were always happy.
Back in Syndicate? Yeah,
Back
of course.
in Syndicate, yeah, you were always you had a great attitude with everyone, man. And I could tell. I was
you.
like, dude, this guy is just fucking happy. He's just happy with life.
I am happy.
And you can tell that, you know, you can really tell if someone's just trying to like kind of fake it and kind of get up on the social ladder and, you know, all that stuff. But then, dude, you were just happy to be there. And I think that's like, I don't know what your like full history is. I know a little bit, but then I think is it because I'm just gonna ask you a question. Is it because you came from Turkey and like you came to the States and you're just happy to be alive? Like what does I'm just guessing here.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Even though like I love Turkey, it's a great country.
Yeah.
And I lived there for 25 years. It's just like I love training. And when I first moved to Vegas, like I wouldn't say starstruck, but like the level of training that I got exposed to is just enough to make me happy, because like that's like the Mecca, like the Harvard of MMA, right? This city. So you learn so much from people all around you. And when I did the Saturday sparrings for the first time, the open sparrings, you remember those?
Yep.
So
That's good too because it's very internal, right? It wasn't something like external, that like a car that you bought that made you really happy. It's like something that
I didn't
like
have a car at the time. I was like riding my bike.
right. It's like something deep. It's like you were doing something, like you were exercising, you were getting healthy for yourself, and you were like gaining skills and confidence and blah blah blah, self-esteem and all that.
Yeah,
you were kind of a nerd, honestly.
I am a Muay Thai nerd.
Yeah, no, you're just like kind of like like a skinny nerd.
Like when back in the juice.
Yeah, it's just
No juicing. No juicing over here. All natural.
That was breaking news here, folks.
Down.
Yeah.
The secret juice. Poi costa.
Yeah. So what's up, man? How's the nightclubs been, dude?
Pretty busy. We had EDC last week. We got Memorial Day weekend this week.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of money to be made. I'm excited.
Besides the fights at the Virgin Hotel, are you looking forward to seeing fights at the nightclub itself, or what?
Honestly, dude, like our nightclub has fights here and there, but it's not like Dre's. I didn't want to name drop.
Dude,
I didn't want to name drop.
You know what, dude? You have it out for Dre's, huh? You've talked about Dre's before. I know you said it's Crompton, right? Like
yeah,
Cromwell.
Yeah,
Crompton.
I mean, I do like Dre's. Like I've been there a couple of times and stuff like that, but it's just. It's more work. I mean, I don't mind the work. It's just like Hakkasan is a different level of my.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
It's more exclusive.
It's politically correct.
Yeah.
Politically correct, my friend.
Hey. It's a different crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, man? So, did you have anything to ask me or get off your chest, or go ahead, man? It's boys talk.
Yes. Just buy your goddamn tickets.
Dude, I'm a last minute kind of guy.
Okay.
It's gonna get done.
Right. Now I hear you.
It's gonna get done. Yeah.
But let's train, dude. Like we haven't been training together for the longest time.
Hey, man. So there's another thing too. You know, and this is relatable to everyone too. Is that like I was saying that, you know, with my I guess it's stomach issues, right? It might be viral. I don't know. I'm going to doctor. We'll see what's up with it. Hopefully everything's okay. But yeah, it's kind of gotten me down. The thing about that is that when your health fucks up, I notice that everything goes, right? Because your stomach is pretty much your second brain, right?
Oh yeah,
like you've
exactly.
got biomes and stuff like that that's connected to the vagus nerve. And when your health goes, just your mindset kind of takes a hit a little bit because you're down and out. You're just kind of like, you can't train to a full capacity.
You're off the routine.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's just kind of like one morning you'll be like, oh, I wrote on my journal, luckily, that I've done a great job maintaining it. That's how I know habits are powerful, because it's just sheer habit at this point, right? Sometimes when I get up, I'm like, of course I'm saying in my head, like, you could go, dude. You know what I mean? Stop being like a bitch. But yeah, but it kind of takes a lot more energy than it usually does just to be like, all right, cool. You know, you don't have that same, I'm still enthusiastic about it, but you just don't have that same push to go. You're just not like, all right, cool, time to get up. It's almost like, kind of time to get up. But anyways,
but your body's fighting an infection at the same time. So you got to think like that. That's what, taking some part of energy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but
you remember my leg injury when I had
that?
You know, dude, that was a health scare. Like I had recently, like 2 months ago. I actually thought that I might lose the leg. Like when I first went to the doctors, they're like, "Damn, that shit looks."
That's gnarly.
Yeah,
if I heard that, I'd be like, "Oh fuck!"
Like I couldn't put weight on it for a couple of days.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was it called again? It was like I forgot. Isaac told me something.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of
like it was just an infection. Yeah. That
it had like a more technical name, but it's basically staph.
Yeah, that kind of shit is like fucking gnarly, man. It's like, oh fuck, it really makes you think twice about how good we really have it, right? Like when you're healthy, and then again, it starts snowballing into like negative thoughts if you're just, especially if you just have some downtime, and then you're kind of thinking about your health, and then you're thinking about, wait, why didn't I do this? It just it's just feelings kind of go there. But then what's good is that if you built those principles up for yourselves, like if you have like a mission statement in life and principles and values, you can always go back to those and kind of balance out your emotions by thinking about like, okay, well, I'm feeling down right now, but one of them that gets me through like late at night when I'm having these problems is that I can't let temporary feelings make permanent conclusions, right?
good,
Because it's always going to be temporary, and you got to remember that. Sometimes you'll just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You just like your sleep is really good, and you ate right. But then sometimes you'll just be like, "Fuck the world." But yeah, I think that's a really good one to like regulate your emotions. I still write every day. I write, so that's good. And then every day I'm still active. Every day I'm still active, man.
Get that body moving. You know, that's how to start the day. You know, by get that blood flowing. Because if you just like sit your entire day, because most people have 9 to 5 like office jobs and stuff like that, so your body like tends to like tense up and all that stuff. But if you, let's say, go for a walk before you go to work, like that I think that's a great workout. Like if you got like a nice place to walk for like 20 minutes, that's why having a dog is actually not a bad idea. You know, like you have a dog in the morning.
I think I'm gonna get one soon, dude. I think I'm gonna get one soon. It's a big responsibility, but I think I'm gonna get one soon. Like honestly, need my road dog.
Road dog.
Yeah, man. But I'm excited for those fights tomorrow. I think I love going to fights. The environment's just like, especially obviously if you know people that are fighting there, like it's so exciting. It's like, oh fuck, like you're actually there live. Yeah, it's almost like surreal.
Yeah,
you can't believe it, right? It's like, wait, are they actually doing that? Like in the cage, they're actually fighting. You know?
Yeah, but it feels nice, dude. Like I'm excited for the fights, and I know that our boy Nas is gonna do great.
Oh, I know it, dude. I know it. Yeah. Regardless of whatever happens, regardless of the results, it's just adding to his tool belt. I just know it. He's too disciplined to fail. He's too consistent. He's too disciplined. He's like the consummate professional. He's what every coach wants. He listens. He does everything that they tell him to. He's just a consummate professional. That's how I know he's going to make it. Right. There's no way he can't make it. It's just crazy. Right. Yeah. He has all the tools. But yeah, man. Yeah. Well, all right, man. Well, we're going to end this.
Episode 9.
Episode 9 in the books officially. Yeah, making headway, man. Episodes 9. And again, with these podcasts, we just get better and better. Our communication skills get better. Certain nuances, certain subtle things that we need to polish up, always getting better. And, yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Good episode.
Good talking to you, man.
All right.